Hey, well, tonight we're angry at the troublemakers. And if you want to know which troublemakers we're talking about, let me refer you to this YouTube tweet that just came out. This was today. And YouTube, I quote, "Yesterday was the safe harbor deadline. Now that enough states certified their presidential election results will remove any content published today or after that alleges widespread fraud or errors changed the 2020 US presidential election outcome." And the troublemakers that I'm referring to are the troublemakers who are claiming that there were irregularities in this election and that it should be voided. You may think that this battle is won and that Joe Biden will be president as half of us wish. However, the troublemakers have other ideas. And the troublemakers are Trump, Giuliani, and all the witnesses to election fraud that have signed affidavits claiming that they've seen irregularities. These people are causing a problem for the Biden election, and the office of the president-elect is probably not too happy about these troublemakers. Now let's take a look at these troublemakers in more detail, and let's see who these troublemakers really are. Well, first, there was the attempt by Giuliani and a wide swath of sworn witnesses. By that I mean witnesses who had submitted sworn affidavits in support of their statements. And they provided testimony to Michigan, New Mexico, Pennsylvania. I happened to watch all of those, and I thought that they were very, very disruptive. I thought the points that they raised certainly did make it seem as though there were questions, and that kind of disruption is really not appropriate in the America of today. We know who the winner was. It's been determined. The media has determined it. The social networks have determined it. And these troublemakers just refuse to go away. And now it's getting even worse because now the states are getting involved. You even have Texas. God knows Texas is causing enough trouble as it is. They're drawing people from California. They're causing people to doubt the California model. I mean, this is unconscionable. These are troublemakers in the extreme, and they must be stopped. And thank goodness that YouTube is finally taking a step to put all these troublemakers out of business. This election was the most fair in the history of the planet, and I believe I have some unconfirmed reports that it is actually the most fair election ever to have taken place in our galaxy. So that is a standard that's very hard to complain about, and yet the troublemakers are still at it. And now Texas is joining the battle. You know, we've taken great comfort from the fact that the Supreme Courts of the states like Pennsylvania and Nevada have ruled against the troublemakers. But even though the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Pennsylvania and did not agree to hear the case on an expedited basis, they did not dismiss the case, giving more hope to the troublemakers. And as I said, here comes Texas increasing the troublemakers' efforts. And what Texas is doing is they are claiming that the elections are basically a contract between all 50 states, that the states have to provide fair elections in terms of their relationship with the other states, that the other states are owed a fair election. And Texas is claiming that in these particular states, Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona, they are claiming that widespread irregularities took place. Now, this is obviously troublemaking at its core. And what they're claiming is three issues. The first issue is they're claiming that non-elected legislators acted as legislators by changing election laws. Obviously a false argument. There's no way that's going to go anywhere. Anybody can make a law. If you're a judge, if you're an elector, even if you're a high-ranking city councilman, you should be allowed to make a law. Certainly you should be able to, especially if it's for an ultimate good. The second issue that they're alleging is that there was intrastate irregularities, i.e. in some counties that were more Democrat or more Republican, different rules were allowed to other counties. This is obviously not legal, but it's only a troublemaker who would bring up this kind of issue. We know who the president-elect is. We know who the president should be. We know that China is our friend, and we know that Joe Biden should be trusted, and so should Michigan and Georgia and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. And Texas is just being a troublemaker by causing all of these issues to be raised publicly. Why can't they just stop? I mean, YouTube is trying to protect us from all of this misinformation. And here you have Texas, and I believe many other states are now joining in their troublemaking activities. This has got to end. We know who the president-elect is. We know that the Supreme Court is probably, almost certainly, not going to overturn what we believe the election results to be. Only troublemakers would insist that the Constitution would be followed. Only troublemakers would insist that President-elect Biden would not be president. And certainly only a troublemaker would dare to suggest that Kamala Harris is not our next president. Please, can we finally wake up?